Good morning and welcome to a pre-market review session with the Market Trader. My name's Ray, the Market Trader. And before we begin, we need to run through our requisite risk disclosure here, guys. So we'll go ahead and do that. Good morning, Wetlands. Let's go ahead and do that. So again, just to remind everyone that the content that's being published by the Market Trader and its affiliates is to be treated as general information only. None of the information provided by the company or contained herein is intended as investment advice and offered to buy, sell, recommend, endorse, sponsor any security, company, or fund. Uh, Use of this information contained herein is to be used at your own risk, and the company, its partners, representatives, agents, employees, and contractors assume no responsibility or liability for any use or misuse of such information. We all understand that future trading carries a fair amount of risk, and it's not for every investor. And the investor could potentially lose all or more of their investment capital. Only risk capital money that can be lost without jeopardizing one's financial security or lifestyle should be used for trading, and only those individuals with sufficient risk capital should consider trading. Again, nothing contained herein is a solicitation or an offer to buy, sell futures, options, or forex, and past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results. All right, so now that we've gotten through the risk disclosure here, guys, we're going to go ahead and attention to our news portal and see what news we have in store today that could potentially impact the markets here. All right, so we're going to go ahead and switch screens here for a moment and see what we have here as far as, okay, so looking at the news here, we have the Jackson Hole Symposium that's going to take place all day today. I guess news coming out of that has the potential of impacting the markets. We have Powell, I guess, speaking with respect to, I guess, interest rates. And then we have a number of Fed members speaking throughout the day here. The last one speaking on CNBC at 11:30. And we have some sort of announcement coming from Trump here at noon today. So that obviously has the potential of impacting us in the market. So I would say relatively light in comparison to some other news events that we just went through today, but nonetheless, there's always that wild card when we have our president speaking here. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and turn our attention to our news not news but platform. All right, we're going to go ahead and start taking a look at the market here, and what's interesting is the reaction we're getting from gold here at the bottom end of this channel here. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Aslan, can you see me now? All right. Hopefully that sorted itself out. Sometimes when I go between screens, it momentarily pauses there. Okay. So what's interesting is the reaction we're getting from the screen, from the edge of this daily trend line, okay, as part of the larger ascending trend line or ascending pattern. Okay, perfect. So we had a nice little engulfing candle that left this area, but it has not been followed with any sort of follow through to the upside. Actually, we've gotten some reverse candles that kind of leads me to believe that maybe we might even see a break to the downside. Okay. We've been in some bearish structure here of late in this market, and now we have a candle that was kind of giving us the impression that we're going to head higher, only to be reversed in these last couple of candles. And we have a developing candle for the day here that hasn't really quite exceeded the low end of this candle. But if we do manage to get below this candle, then maybe there is a possibility that we could head lower. Okay. All right. So daily is showing some signs of weakness. Moving on to the 4-hour chart here, we can see. Going to go ahead and turn off our initial balance here for a moment. You can see that that series of candles that I was telling you about. You could see that we are continuing to be in this bearish structure here to the downside. I would say that again, this level down below, this trend line that we've been watching is going to continue to be something that we need to continue to watch to see if we remain and hold above it. So I'm going to say 33.56, 33.55.7 is something that we need to keep an eye on. to see if we manage to hold. Because if we don't, then I would say that these levels below us, 3,300, does not seem out of the realm of possibility here. Okay, so we continue to be in some sort of bearish structure here on the gold. Okay, moving on to the 30-minute chart here. Thankfully, my data issues that I've been having here for the past couple of days have sorted itself out, which is a good thing. Okay, so again, we are seeing that price is below our VWAP. We're going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile here and take a look at see where price is in relation to yesterday's price action. Okay, so here we are, and we are below that, right? So a lot of sellers in the market right now, a lot of participants in the market on the bearish side. You can see that price is below our VWAP. You can see prices below our volume profile from yesterday. And if we go through the exercise of taking a look here, it stands to reason here that we're also below. This is the U.S. session. We're going to go ahead and just kind of walk through the Asia. Okay, Tokyo was it broke to the downside, made for a very nice trade in the Asia session to the downside. And London, I would expect to be also similarly down. Okay, right. So actually, we just managed to break to the downside, and we're getting a little bit of a rejection candle at the moment. So London was in some sort of range, made an attempt to break to the downside, and that so far has been met with some buying. Now we are kind of in the U.S. session, and we're developing a rather I would say a normal size initial balance range. Okay. So here's our initial balance range. We are coming into some areas where we could find some support here. So this level here around 33.65 could be supportive. And then we have some level, obviously we have some levels below. Okay. So it'll be interesting to see if we do manage to hold above 33.65. If we start to change some structure, maybe break above the VWAP, that would give us some indication here that maybe the market could turn. But based on what I'm seeing, what I was seeing on the daily and the 4-hour, it seems like we are still in some bearish structure here. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see how this market continues, whether the momentum to the downside continues. Okay, so heading into the session, while I am seeing a little bit of a reaction here at the lows of the market, the market still is in some sort of bearish structure for me. Okay, moving on to the crude oil market. Okay, crude oil market looks like we are seeing some signs of maybe that the market has finally started to rally here a little bit. Okay, so it looks like we are, maybe this is the third day in a row where we're getting a bullish candle. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Trader Dubois, I think that's perfectly okay. I think that's perfectly okay. I think waiting for a good level to buy is probably not a bad call. We are coming into some support levels. We are coming into some demand levels, but I cannot deny, right? I cannot deny that we are making lower lows and lower highs, right? I cannot deny that, right? So waiting for a level for a reversal in gold is reasonable. Allows us to manage our risk, right? Because we're already at some of the low ends of the market here. All right. So turning to crude oil here, guys, they're sort of, I guess, the black gold here. We are seeing some signs here that maybe the market is beginning to reverse here. You can see that it's reversing. If on a lower time frame, what's my short? I'd have to take a look, but I would have to take a look and see. Let me quickly go back and see what kind of structure above here that could cause, right? All right, so here we are. Again, you can see here that, right? What I'm concerned about, Trader Dubois, is the fact that we got a nice bullish engulfing candle, and we got maybe even a reaction away from the middle of this candle. But this today is still, we still have a fair amount of bears, right? So 3,400 looks like an area that continues to be an area that we need to watch as far as shorts. Okay, because every time that we've come up to that area, that's been met with some resistance. Okay, all right, let's go back to the crude oil. All right, we were looking at the daily chart. Daily chart is showing some signs of maybe the market is going to potentially reverse here. Okay, so again, we have price kind of reversing off a known demand zone here to the upside. Taking a look at the 4-hour chart here, we're going to go ahead and you can see that even on the 4-hour chart, we are seeing some bullish price action in a market that has otherwise been bearish. Okay, right? So you can see here that we are in some bearish structure, but of late we are seeing some signs of some bullish price action. Okay, moving down to the 30-minute chart, looking at the 30-minute chart here, you can see that we are seeing a similar kind of price action. Again, we've broken some structure here to the upside. We're seeing some higher highs and higher lows. Prices above our VWAP. Okay, and giving us some indication that the market is beginning to get, maybe bulls are beginning to get a little bit of a foothold in taking this market, to the upside here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile. I'm going to go ahead and take a look and see what where price is in relation to yesterday's session here. Okay, so we're going to go do this. Okay, and there it is. Right now we are hovering right at the edge of the value area high. Okay, so we made a break to the upside. Looks like that was met with some sellers, and that took us down to VWAP, and now it looks like we maybe potentially have found some buyers again. Okay, so obviously we need to get above this 63.82 level to continue this pattern to the upside. We are seeing maybe that we have a fair number of buyers here in this market. Okay, so this is Tokyo, I believe. Okay, or Asia. All right. So no, that's yesterday's session. Let's look at Asia. Okay, so Asia managed to take the market higher. Okay, but it was a little bit in a range. Okay, London was able to, I believe, no, actually stayed in range. Okay, so right now we're in range in London, so really not giving us any indication on direction. Yeah, Trader Alejandro. I think right now I'm seeing some signs of bullish price action in crude oil. As long as we can remain above, say, 63, 66, right? I think 63, 66 is, I think, an important level in the crude oil market. We could potentially get up to 64, maybe be up to 64.20. Okay, so that's certainly a possibility. Okay, so I would say headed into the session, I remain somewhat bullish in crude oil. Okay, so let's go ahead now and move on to the NQ here. NQ Nasdaq. We're going to go ahead and start with a daily. Daily, again, seems like we are in some sort of consolidation pattern, but I would say that we're starting to see maybe some signs that maybe there is some interest here around the 23,000 level in this market. Okay. Yeah, I don't think there's any immediate trade in crude oil. I think there's some more price action that needs to take place. And again, if you follow me for any extended period of time, you know that I'm going to be watching for some price to leave the initial balance range before I consider anything. So in any case, here we are. Again, we remain in some sort of bullish structure in this market. Again, if we draw our little trend line, not that kind of trend line, but that's certainly a supportive area. Okay. But if we do a little bit of a trend line here, right, we are respecting that trend. Okay. Of late, right? So as long as price remains above that trend line, then the market appears that it wants to head higher. Now, of late, we've gotten a little bit of bearish price action, but that could be part of a larger kind of rangy kind of price action that we've been seeing of late in the equity markets. Moving down to the 4-hour chart. Looking at the 4-hour chart, we're going to go ahead and turn off an initial balance here. Again, you can see that maybe we are in the midst of maybe developing a little bit of a W pattern here. I'm not sure. We have a wick, an attempt going to below was met with buying, another wick below met with buying. So again, if we do get above, say 23,360, then maybe there is a leg. Okay, maybe there is a leg to the upside. Now, if we can't get above, right, we can't make a new high, then maybe we are in some structure that could potentially lead us back down to 22,800, something along those lines. Yeah, choppy, yes, choppy, and I think the equities have been choppy of late, right? A little bit of indecision as to what the direction they want to go. All right, so looking at the 30-minute chart, looking at maybe some of the overnight trading that we received of late here. So let's take a look at what Thursday where price is in relation to Thursday's price action here. Okay, so right about there, we'll drag that across to the close right there. Okay, so you can see that we remain inside this value range of Thursday, and moreover, right, looks like we are reacting off of value area high. So what does that mean for me? Well, it looks like maybe we might head lower. Okay, if this candle closes as bearish as it looks, then certainly making a move down to VWAP is not out of the realm of possibility, and maybe potentially down to this say 23,170 level. Okay, so and that would be in line with the kind of range price action that we've been seeing of late in the Nasdaq. Okay. I'm just going to quickly go through some initial profile, but I suspect that so London was able to take the market higher. Okay. Now it's kind of reversing away from the 100% extension. Okay. Looking at Asia. Okay. Asia is also actually managed to head lower before it went higher. Okay. But this is probably more the result of London than it is Asia here, right? So the Asia was a bit, I'm still bearish, okay, but not with the same conviction. Didn't manage to, as he got closer to the London session, drove price lower, and then we've been up ever since. Okay, so we are at a level here around value area high that could produce maybe a move to the downside in the Nasdaq. Okay, moving on to the ES here. We're going to take a look at the daily. Looking at the daily here, we can see that the market, again, remains in some sort of bullish structure. We are coming into maybe an area where we could potentially expect some sort of reversal in price. Again, I'm going to be using this kind of trend line here to kind of monitor the progress of this move. If price closes below this, then maybe we are looking at maybe a more significant move to the downside. As long as price holds this trend line, I guess the market continues to show signs of bullish behavior here. Okay, moving on to the 4-hour chart. Again, you're seeing a little bit of that little W pattern that I was telling you about in the Nasdaq is also exhibiting itself in the ES. Right, we had just closed a rather nice bullish candle here. And now we're at the top end of the range. I think we still need to get above 64.20 to be out of the woods here. Maybe break some structure here to the downside here in the 4-hour chart. I'm kind of looking at this kind of as kind of my line in the sand here. Okay, kind of triangle pattern. But if I'm going to look for bulls, I'd like to see price get above this trend line and maybe retest it before it heads higher. All right, looking at the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart again, looks like we are kind of hovering at the highs. I suspect it's probably because of the value area high. So we'll take a look at that now. We're going to head start of the market here, drag that to the close here. Okay, so we're slightly above value. Okay, so indicating maybe that that the ES may be a little bit stronger. Okay, folks are willing to pay a premium from yesterday's price. Okay. So as long as price remains above value, maybe there is something to maybe a continued move to the upside. We have price above our VWAP, okay, above our VWAP. That's also also indication of some bullish price action. Okay, we'll go ahead and quickly take a look at our initial balance. Okay, so this is, I believe, Asia. Okay, so Asia session, they managed during London to break above. Okay, kind of similar kind of break, right? Asia brought it down, wiped out a bunch of maybe stops of some longs before it reversed. Okay, and now we're up above initial balance high and value area high. So if we can manage to hold here around 6,400, I would say that there is a reasonable chance that we continue to the upside. Right now, it does appear that it wants to remain in some sort of range. Okay, at the moment. All right. Looking at our last market of the day here, guys, we're going to go ahead and move on to the Dow. Looking at the daily again, we're seeing again same kind of price action. We are in some sort of consolidation pattern. We have Fed member Powell speaking at 9 a.m. Okay, something to be alerted of. Okay, so we're kind of bumping our heads here around the 45,000 level. We have not been able to sustain above 45,000. It's struggling to get above that level. We have yet again another bullish candle. We made an attempt to go lower, found some buyers here, and now we have a developing bullish candle to the upside. Okay, so price remains in some sort of bullish price action of late here. Okay, looking at the 4-hour chart. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and turn off initial balance here for a moment. This appears to be some sort of consolidation pattern. Okay, we see that price is hovering around, or maybe even creating a little bit of a supportive zone here around 44,800, maybe as low as 726. Okay, we are creating some sort of support level here, getting some rejection away. So again, I would say that if we can stay above 45,000, I would say that that is bullish for this market. Okay, moving down to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute chart, similar to what we were seeing in some of the other equities. You can see that price is well above value here, or VWAP. Okay. And then I'm going to go ahead and open up our fixed range volume profile for yesterday's session here, drag that across to the close here, and you can see that price is above value, again, indicating that there are people who are willing to pay a premium for to be a part of this market. Now, if I am going to be a participant in this market, I'd like to see price come back down, and that goes for all the equities, right? I'd like to see price come back down to VWAP before I participate in any sort of move to the bullish side in this market. Okay. All right, guys. Well, let's go as well. Actually, take a look at the initial balance here. Okay. So initial balance, we have Tokyo. This is Asia. Okay. Asia managed to get down to the 50% extension and rally. Okay. It rallied for the remainder of the session. And let's see, London. Okay. Also, I think probably a little bit more range, also broke to the upside. Okay. So both Asia and ultimately became bullish. I would say London be a little bit more bullish than Asia. Okay. All right. So let's quickly run through summarize our position on all these markets. I know your view on this, Trader Dubois, but again, we are in bearish structure in gold. Okay. We could potentially find an area down here that could offer us maybe a reversal. That's not out of the question here. I would say this 3360, this area down below here that I've identified, could also be a nice area for reversal. The 50%, 3362 is one area. A secondary area, 3357, all look like maybe some potential areas for potential reversals in price. Okay. I'd like to see price close back inside the initial balance range of London here before I would entertain it. Ultimately, I'd like it to see it get above VWAP before I'm looking more bull than bear. Okay, crude oil, I would say entering into the market looks to me like it's kind of in a continuation pattern to the upside. It looks to me, I guess, of late has been a little bit more bullish. So that's kind of the view that I have in crude oil. All right, NASDAQ. NASDAQ, we are up against the higher value area high. We are above the initial balance of Asia and maybe a little bit more range in London. Okay, so we'll have to see, can we get above this? Can we break some structure here? Can we get above value area high before we and to see if we can maintain this structure to the upside? Okay. Because I think on the higher time frame, we were seeing maybe a little bit more in the way of let's quickly take a look at daily. Yeah, we continue to be in some sort of bearish structure to the downside. Okay, so it'll be interesting to see if we can start to develop some structure. We need to get above this, I would say 23,270 in order to begin to think about maybe some bull activity. All right, ES, ES. Again, we are above a lot of the indicators. We're above value area high, above our initial balance high for Asia, above our VWAP, all indicating that maybe we'll continue bullish. And then ultimately the Dow, okay. Okay, well here, look at the Dow here, and the Dow also above some of the indicators that we're looking for. Again, if I'm going to be a part of this bullish structure that we're in, I'd like to come back down to maybe a known level of support. I would say VWAP would be kind of a nice level here. The high end of the value range, maybe for Asia or London, would also be a nice area maybe to look to participate. But we are coming in again. We are coming into some areas where we could see either continued range price action or maybe even a reversal in price, at least initially, before we have the potential of heading higher. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I think that's it for me. I do have to to jump here. But today's Friday. Today's not a day that we want to be super aggressive. If you've had a good week, this is Capital Preservation Friday. If you haven't hit the like button, if you hadn't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that. The recording will be available up on the portal. Make a comment or two. Let everybody know how this analysis is supporting your view and your understanding of the markets. And yeah, have an excellent weekend, and we'll pick up again next week. Have an excellent weekend, and we'll talk again soon.